Alright, hello everyone. We're gonna be watching some Deep Space Nine today, but before we get started in 4 minutes, well, for one thing, I remembered to unmute myself. I did it! And I play the jazz and I have the chat on screen. Man, I'm so good at this. So before we start, last time I tried to explain what the triangle ship counter was about, but I was, no, I didn't mute myself. I don't know what you're talking about. I totally explained it, but just for fun, let's explain it again. So the Data's an android counter. How many times does Data say, I am an android? And the triangle ship counter. How many times do we run into this ship? Let me see, find a good picture of it here. Yeah, this one. It's very triangular, and they keep using it for a bunch of different ship models. It's just reused constantly. So, if everyone could keep an eye out for the triangle ship, it should be showing up quite often. Dozens of times, because apparently they only have like 3 ship models, so they just keep using the same one. And this is the one that stands out to me the most. I'm just gonna be looking out for it. There's another triangle ship. 2 triangle ships in the same frame. Very fancy. So today we're gonna be starting out with Babel, which is about a disease that is actually a thing. I don't remember what it's called. I can look it up real quick. Where people just say the wrong words. Basically. They try and say one thing, and it sounds right in their head, but the actual words that come out of their mouth are completely wrong. Complete nonsense. Aphasia. It's aphasia, yes. So we're going to be watching Aphasia the episode today. And a complete failure to quarantine, once again. Same as in the early episodes of TNG. Just, quarantine procedures are not a thing in Star Trek. Yeah, it doesn't... I'm not aware of any real aphasia virus, but in this case, we're having a virus that spreads aphasia. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, the fact that the early episodes of TNG and DS9 have a lot of complete failure to contain things. I mean, that's great. I mean, you can pronounce Babel as Babel, but I do not. I refuse. I call it Babel. We see the triangle ship everywhere, especially in Deep Space Nine because it's a Bajoran freighter. So it's definitely gonna come up. If not today, or if not in this episode, then in some episode today, it's gonna happen. Though there is a rule, if it's in the title sequence, it doesn't count. The title sequence does not count. Otherwise we would have to count probably every single episode of DS9. It's only times it shows up uniquely in an episode. I started in about 30 seconds. I probably can close this tab about the Husnock warship. We won't be seeing the triangle ship sadly in TNG for a couple seasons, I don't think. But we should be seeing it here in Deep Space Nine. So that's gonna be good. Seems like a good time to mute the light jazz. And we'll be starting in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. Oh hey, they're quarantining aliens. Oh, it's not quarantine, it's a broken door. Never mind. Never mind. They seem quite panicked, but I would assume they could just walk back to their ship and wait for the door to be fixed. Can they not open the outer airlock? Let them back into their own ship while they wait? This man drives a triangle? Oh, I hope he drives a triangle. Tragically, I remember what happens to his ship, so we may not get the triangle the entire episode, if you know what I'm saying. But I would love to see his triangle. Is that door not working? No, that. Oh. Oh. On the bright side, that is some amazing soundproofing. Couldn't hear that at all until the door was opened. I mean, strictly speaking, the darkness is probably better than the screeching. I'd be happy with that trade. I never noticed the fact that that display. I don't know if it's just a trick of perspective, but it looks like it has like a glass, not quite a dome, but a cover on it. No, it's just a trick of perspective. Oh, that was weird. It looked like it. Yeah, in this shot. It looks like it has like a triangular glass dome on top of it. But it's just lines on the display. Seems a little stressed though. He's trying. He's doing a good job. There's just a lot to do. There's just a lot to do. At least he doesn't have Rumpelstiltskin bugging him in this episode while he's trying to work. We don't get that until later. I mean, you say DS9 wouldn't come to life and try to kill the main cast, but yeah, that kind of happens. Yeah, those sparkles were virus. Those were virus sparkles. The evil sparkles. Is it season 2 that DS9 comes to life and tries to kill everyone? Voyager kind of comes alive and tries to kill people, albeit with holograms that time. Season 3, okay. It's a good episode. I don't remember the Enterprise. Okay, that's a very non-specific. I don't remember the NX-01 Enterprise. The episode I'm thinking of was Civil Defense for DS9. I don't remember the NX-01 ever coming alive and trying to kill everyone. Granted, it barely even had a computer, so fair enough. I don't think it happened there. The Discovery hasn't tried to kill the crew yet. It's come alive, but it hasn't tried to kill everyone yet. What else? What other ships are there? The original Enterprise? I don't remember. I don't. It's been a long time since I saw that I watched TOS all the way through, so I don't remember if the original Enterprise tries to kill them. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if it did. So I would guess just the NX-01 and the Discovery. We might get the Discovery trying to murder everyone in Season 3. Maybe we'll get the murder ship in Season 3. I'm sure if we get the full 7 seasons of Discovery, like we get for most of the series, at one point it will try and kill everyone. We may have even gotten it in Enterprise if it hadn't been canceled, if we got 3 more seasons out of it. Where's Morn? Why is Morn not here? There was someone here, but that's not Morn. Geraldine Farrell. The name popped up on screen. I wonder if they're related to Terry Farrell. Or Farrell. I don't know. How could they not have known already that we all want Morn? That's all we care about. Yeah, are those his own personal replicators? I mean, he acts like he's a professional chef, but he just presses a few buttons, and it automatically creates whatever dish people want. I guess people are paying for the atmosphere of Quarks, because I would guess the Replimat is free. The Replimat's probably free, but people don't like it there. Nope, it's definitely not his own personal replicator, because it just locked him out. He seems to have. Yeah, I was about to say, he seems to have at least real yamic sauce. I don't know how much of his food is real. A lot of it's replicated. But at least the yamic sauce is real. He imports that stuff from straight from Cardassia. No, he's not alright. He's hugely overworked. She's what? Flower units? Yeah, not just any ordinary stem bolts. Self-sealing. Oh, there's Morn. Morn's back. Everything's fine now. All is right with the world. And with the station. So, we're going to establish later that Quark is using the command level replicators to get all his food and drinks for his customers. Do they not notice him leaving the bar every time someone makes an order? Or do you think he replicates a bunch of stuff at once, brings it back to the bar, and keeps it warm? Like the most popular dishes. Major Lark's true. I can't even say it. Major Lark's true pepper, it's true. Way Link, Kira. Way Link, come on. Yeah, it makes more sense to pronounce Babel as Babel, but I won't. How many? Well, let's see. He fixed. Did he fix all the replicators on the command level? He's fixed at least one, and later on, there will be one in quarters that are working. So that's at least two. Flame the Dark True Salt Way Link complete something something. So, okay, quick hypothesis. It seems like the words he's using are consistent. He's using way link over and over to mean the same thing, which would seem to indicate that he's not just saying random words. Like it's just each word is swapped out for a different word, but it's consistent. Could the universal translator solve that? Could it treat that as a foreign language and try and get the meaning that way? If it's the same word being used, I don't see why it wouldn't work. I think the problem with the Darmok language was just that it was proper nouns for the most part. It made perfect sense. They just didn't know who Darmok was. Yeah, that it's probably best not to think too much about how the universal translator is supposed to work. Maybe I shouldn't bring that up. It works. Oh, hey, Morn. He's even talking to someone. What you talking about, Morn? You know, before the real quarantine, I would have said this bar is 100% not essential station business, but apparently restaurants just are considered essential because they're open, so hey, whatever. I guess it's more accurate than I thought it would be. Though you should probably actually ask Cisco if that's considered essential, if it's his rule, and then that'll give you an excuse to shut it down. But okay. Maybe it's actually considered essential because people's replicators aren't working in their own quarters, so that's the only way they can get food. And Quark can't do delivery. I don't know. Yeah, what about the space economy? At least he's enforcing quarantine in the sense that nobody can leave the station. So that's good at least. He's allowing it to spread a bit too much within the station, but it can't leave. It won't. It won't get off. It won't get to Bejor. So that's not too bad. Okay, so there was a hypothesis earlier that people came to Quarks and bought things because that would produce real alcohol, where the normal replicators would not. But clearly, this has produced real alcohol here. So I still don't know why people are paying Quark, except for the atmosphere of being in a bar. Bar, restaurant, casino, mix. Oh, they hadn't decided Rom was actually really good at engineering yet. Rom can fix anything. He's like a Ferengi O'Brien. Oh man, this. Okay. All the replicators have biofilters, and all the replicators. All the biofilters screen out contaminants. I'd watched the Lower Decks premiere, Star Trek Lower Decks, and without going into much detail because it just came out, the biofilters end up being a problem. And I was looking at I was reading people's there's some people who legitimately discuss it. It's like, oh, I like this part, I didn't like this part, but there's also groups of people who are completely dedicated to hating anything new in Star Trek. And I like reading those for a laugh sometimes. And I was reading one and it said, it's like, oh, that should never have happened. All these transporters and replicators have biofilters. That would never happen on old Star Trek. It's like, what are you talking about? That happens all the time in old Star Trek. That happens constantly. Look, right here, the biofilters didn't screen out nothing. And those are Federation replicators. They were installed by the Federation. It happens in TNG all the time. The biofilters don't do nothing. What are you talking about? Lower Decks, I don't feel I can really judge it because it's not my kind of show. It's not what I typically watch. The only thing I can say is this. I don't. Whether or not they're Cardassian or Federation replicators, it still happens on TNG constantly. So it clearly is an issue. Um, Lower Decks. I don't really like animated comedies. It's not my style. And it's clearly a kid's show. But watching it, I felt it was fine. So, someone who doesn't really like the genre thinks it's fine. So, presumably, if you like the genre, you'll actually really like it. It's just different. Do you like the genre? You'll probably like the show. It seemed like a kid show to me. I mean, I don't know what you guys saw. Okay, besides the bit on the holodeck, except that part. Except that part. Jake's gonna be fine, don't worry. He'll be okay. Yeah, apparently Quark's just fine. Oh, still referencing gold. That's still a thing. Still a thing. It's not gold press platinum yet. Also notably not something like credits. He straight up wants him to give him gold. Odo's probably immune. I'd imagine he is, because he doesn't have a brain. This is supposed to disrupt pathways to the brain, and Odo doesn't have one. So he's probably fine. And Ferengi brains are talked about as being very unusual. Like telepaths can't read them. Except for the times that they can, but hey, don't worry about it. Star Trek's always perfectly consistent. Don't worry about the fact that Ferengi can sometimes be read by telepaths and sometimes they can't. They must have been captured. I imagine for them to be captured before they could release it, they'd have to like have just finished putting it in the replicator. They heard someone coming and they had to put the panel back on. Because they were pretty much done. It was all set up. Does Odo make more goo? He has to grow, right? Because there's a child changeling later and it's much smaller. So he has to grow more goo at some point. I honestly have no idea if Odo's considered an adult, because other changelings kind of treat him like he's an adolescent. Especially Loss. Loss is like, oh, you're still so young. You don't know the solids as I do. I used to live among them, but I grew out of it. Bashir probably gave the goo back when he got him back, I would assume. I don't know if they're immortal, but the female changeling does say Odo is timeless. Could be metaphorical. I mean, Odo's old enough to be to be an adult by human standards, but I'm wondering if he's more of a teenager by changeling standards. Like Baby Yoda, despite being 50 years old, he's a baby. They don't have to kill off Odo. Odo's in the Great Link, in the Gamma Quadrant. He can just not come if they do a reunion. He can just stay over there. He's busy with the Dominion. It's true. He could just return as a drinks trolley. He can be anything he wants. It doesn't have to be Rene Aubergenois. Though, I mean, if you want to have a changeling, that's not Aubergenois, because we don't have Rene Aubergenois anymore. It's probably best to actually just recast him. We can have a different shapeshifter. He's not the only one. There's a whole ocean of shapeshifters. Oh, show me the screen again, I want to read it. It said request Arkira Nerys, location Deep Space Nine. I didn't catch the rest of that. Did anyone read that file? Was there anything interesting in it? Oh, hey, Renee. No, see, Renee's okay. He's right there, right? We all love Renee. Does Quark have a gambling addiction? He seems desperate to play. It's a dramatic difference from seeing Armin Shimmerman playing Quark to when we saw him play Latek yesterday, where he was just dancing in the background while people talked. It's a dramatic difference. He's so much better here. The last outpost was certainly an interesting episode. Armin's actually able to do things here rather than just sort of gyrate in the background. Is that peanut butter on his shelf? Behind Bashir? Was that a jar of peanut butter? What was up with that? Yeah, right next to his head. Protein sheath degradation, nucleotide convergence. We need to linger on the screens more. I want to read what they say. I mean, they probably don't want us to read what it says. But I want to read what it says. Hinder squad performance, then loud bush, I went gray relish, equal hook growl rope. I was able to read it that time. Yep, that's what it is. I mean, do we have any reason to suspect it would have been an aphasia virus for Cardassians? Because that's who it was intended for. It, I would expect it to work differently for different species. So maybe he straight up doesn't know what she's talking about. He never planted an aphasia virus. Oh yeah, Garrick's not here. Garrick seems like the kind of guy who would actually be at home right now. He would just be hanging out in his quarters with like 100 ration bars. He seems like the kind of guy that would be a prepper. He's probably okay. And that explains why we don't see him, because he's been locked up in his quarters the whole time. I'm surprised Commander Cisco hasn't been infected yet, because he was one of the earliest people to drink from the replicator. I'd really expected him to be one of the first people to go. Actually, yeah, wasn't he literally the second person? O'Brien fixed it, had his own drink. Then Cisco went and had a drink. Yeah, I guess he's immune because he's half prophet. He's fine. Oh, it's Jahil's ship. Is it going to be Triangle? Is it the Triangle ship? Come on, give us the exterior view. We need that triangle. Yeah. I looked away for a split second. I looked away for a split second and there was an exterior shot I missed. It's not a triangle. What a tragedy. What's even the point of watching this episode if he's not in a triangle ship? Give me another exterior shot show. Let me see the outside again. Blow him up, release your ship, then fire phasers. Just destroy him. It's for the greater good. I mean, his ship might explode and take the docking ring with it. But if they let him leave just to get a little distance from the station and then they blow him up, they prevent the disease from spreading and they don't take out the docking ring. Also, yeah, Kira, you can't do that. I guess she's still used to using freedom fighter slash terrorist methods, so she's not too worried about that, but yeah, she's fine. Oh, he's not immune. He was only resistant to the aphasia virus because he's only half prophet. More like a quarter prophet, I guess, since his mom was only possessed by a prophet. You can cross barrels, all job appalled. Clearly, Odo. So, given the fact that this man, the doctor, is infected, is this attempted murder? Is this attempted murder from Kira? Because she actually infected a man with a deadly virus on purpose to coerce him into helping her. Yeah, it's fatal. People are dying. O'Brien's about to die. But that's fine. He's supposed to suffer. I'm really surprised, given that this is a Cardassian station, that that the security protocols don't keep him from getting to the bridge. Or ops, rather. It's not the bridge, it's ops now. Well, this is a good idea. Just let Quarken have free reign over all the computers by himself alone in ops. I'm sure it'll all work out. He does have higher clearance than Odo. Level 7, 8, something like that. Maybe even 9. Contacted Chief O'Brien, requested environment. Show me the logs for longer on the screen. I want to read them. He requested environmental something from Chief O'Brien. I guess he wanted his air conditioning fixed. Or some such. Okay. Are they going to be able to get it away from the docking ring? Or are they going to forget about the fact that it was going to destroy the docking ring? They're probably going to get it out in time. Exposure hyperonic radiation. You can do it, Odo. We all believe in you. There they go. Oh yeah, that's not a triangle ship. It's vaguely triangular, but it's not the triangle ship. Very tragic. Yeah, it's surprising. I really would have expected them to lose half the station and the docking ring. But no. It turns out they don't kill off a bunch of main characters in this show. And everyone's fine now. Dr. Cermak didn't do anything. The cure was pretty much done. The cure was done, he just synthesized it. If Cisco, if you want your coffee at a more reasonable temperature, specify the temperature you want. You just said coffee black. You need to say the exact temperature in Celsius. My goodness. All right. Well, that was Babel. Not bad. Um Parts of it were a little too real. Parts of it. But overall I think it was quite good. So we're going to be doing the next one in 5 minutes. I'll put the updated title on screen. It's going to be Captive Pursuit with Tosk, our old friend Tosk. You all remember Tosk, right? He's Tosk. He's very clear on that. All right. Oh, jazz. We got the jazz. We did it. So do you guys remember the TNG episode Face of the Enemy? That's the one where Troy is turned into a Romulan briefly. Well, briefly, for the entire episode. She's altered to look like a Romulan. And then there's the Romulan guy that brought her there, Sub-Commander Nivek, who's part of the Underground Movement. Y'all remember that episode? Because the man who plays Sub-Commander Nivek, who's part of the Romulan Underground, is in fact Tosk here. So we get to see Nivek and Tosk. He has a bunch of Star Trek roles, but that's the most notable one that I think. He also plays a Xindi reptilian in Enterprise. We'll be seeing him quite a bit, actually. This will be his first appearance on this little watch through. Toska's a pretty cool guy. I think he's in Voyager too. I don't know who he plays on Voyager, but I think he's in it. The screen behind the blur is black because that's the 0 mark on the timer. So press play in 4, 3, 2, 1, play. And pause the jazz. She's a Dabo girl? The lights behind was probably... I mean, you might have been seeing me check my email. I don't remember ever seeing her in Quarks. Before or after. Yeah, that doesn't seem enforceable. I feel like you're not allowed to have a different language in a contract for terms you're trying to hide. I don't think you can do that. How's that racist? She's talking about it's literally written in Ferengi. They have their own language. What do you want, Tosk? Have they not noticed his camera shaking? Because that only ever happens when someone's about to explode. He's just having a casual conversation with this man, whose ship is about to explode. Yeah, the term gamma quadrant with the universal translator is probably one of those things you're not supposed to think about. It'll just be translated into whatever they call the gamma quadrant, I guess. The universal translator doesn't make any sense. It just look, it works. That's all we need to know. I'll say I don't think quadrant is even a helpful term when referring to things in the galaxy. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the galaxy is really, really big. And quadrant, a whole quarter of the galaxy, that's just that. But why? And I mean, once you get closer to the core, all the quadrants are going to be right next to each other. And when you're on the rim, they're going to be super far apart, edge to edge. I don't think quadrant is a good term. You're probably thinking of sectors are a lot smaller. A quadrant is literally a quarter of the galaxy. It's completely unhelpful as a term. I was thinking they could maybe talk about the galaxy like you have say you have alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and then a bunch more quadrants. So you split them up a lot more. So it's more than four. You have like sectors, octants, maybe. I don't know. And then each of those you split into horizontal slices, if if that makes sense. Let me make a circle here. Paint.net. All right. So suppose you have a galaxy here. Right now, the current quadrants are like that's not the tool I want. The current quadrants are like this, which is completely unhelpful. That is complete like this is the alpha quadrant and this is the alpha quadrant. That's just worthless. But I'm thinking like what if you went like this, split them up a bunch more, so you have a bunch more quadrants, and then when each thing you have the segments here. So if this whole thing was the alpha thing, then this would be like alpha A, alpha B, alpha C, alpha D. And you could just do it like that. You can have the pizza galaxy. It wouldn't be called a galaxy. Or it would be called a galaxy. It wouldn't be called a quadrant, but it would be so much more helpful than literally talking about a quarter of the entire galaxy. Yeah, just polar coordinates. That's all you need, polar coordinates. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's certainly better than quadrants. What is the bloody point of a quadrant? Also, Tosk is invisible, because of course he is. You could also do legs. You could have the Orion spur and the. Honestly, I forget the other names. But yeah, you could have all the spurs and all that. I mean, the galaxy's rotating and changing, but it does it really slowly. It's probably not an issue for Federation time spans. Oh, hey, Tosk. Yeah, you could also make the core one separate thing, so it's just a circle instead of like rounded rectangle things. Wait, but he said he could fix it himself. Why not just give him the materials? I guess they're worried about what he might do with the materials other than fix his ship. So O'Brien needs to supervise at minimum. Yes, it is his name or his species. He is Tosk. Good old inclusive or. It's okay, Tosk. Go on, boy. Good boy. You can do it. Good, Tosk. Honestly, I would name my dog Dog. I don't see a problem with that. It's a good name. O'Brien's armed, I noticed. He has a phaser. If he feels the need for a phaser, you would think he had a couple security guards, too. A couple security officers. Also, that phaser looks like it can tumble out real easily. It's barely in that holster. Maybe it's held in magnetically. Like there's a big magnet at the bottom of the holster, it just clicks in. But it certainly doesn't look secure. I didn't really notice it before. But his eyes, Tosk's eyes, do really look like Sub Commander Nivek. It's absolutely the same person. I mean, not like the iris, of course, because he has alien eyes here. But the way he holds them open, the the eye structure, the facial structure around his eyes, that looks distinctly like Sub Commander Nivek. I mean, I wouldn't really expect Deep Space Nine to have that many people on board, just because I would imagine the Bajorans don't want to live there, because it's a Bajoran, or it was a Cardassian death camp, basically. But they also don't want too many Starfleet officers on board. It's a Bajoran station, and they're worried about occupation again. So I wouldn't expect a huge population of either group. I mean, they still need to be replenished, Tosk. You can't be born with literally every nutrient you'll ever need your entire life. Come on, Tosk. It's not how this works. Unless you do photosynthesis and you draw nutrients from the ground as you walk or something. Come on, man. Have a bite to eat. Do you even have a stomach? If you want to find all the outtakes that I use for the intake series, they're on the Blu-rays. They're on the Blu-ray discs. They're not available online. You can probably get them on regular DVDs too, but probably not the same high resolution. Yeah, if this were TNG, they'd have a whole diplomatic corps there. They'd have the captain, Counselor Troy, and probably Commander Riker there in dress uniforms. But in this case, nah, just O'Brien can walk him around and give him a brief tour. Computer, how can I activate the self-destruct on the station? Yo, you can activate self-destruct from the main computer core if you press these three buttons. Thank you, computer. Very good security on these stations. I imagine the transporter barely has any human interaction with it. It would be such a delicate process. Just let people press the flashing lights and think that they're doing something, but the computer's just handling it all in the background. Just let anyone use the transporter. It's fine. The computer can do it. No, Tosk doesn't joke. He's a very serious man. He's not a merry man, you could say. Tosk is not a merry man. Oh, hey, Morn. No, Morn, that's. No, Morn. Your seat's the one closest to the door. What do you. Morn, where are you going? Did he go to the Dabo tables? Where'd Morn go? Interesting. I remember in later episodes, the ones I actually rewatch when I'm watching Deep Space Nine, that Quark says at one point, I told you not to call me Barkeep, and I guess that's a reference to this episode? I guess? I think it's the episode where they're coming from shooting down German planes over the British Channel. It's like, don't call me Barkeep. It's very dramatic, Tosk. I mean, I assume O'Brien's on duty right now. He's not just hanging out at a bar in his off time, because he was ordered to hang out with Tosk. Cisco told him to. Keiko understands. Keiko's famous for being very chill. She's probably okay with it. Yeah, Tosk is a nice guy. I mean, he would never steal Federation weapons from the weapons lockers. That the computer will tell you where they are, and what the security code is, and how many guards there are. Tosk is an upstanding gentleman. Yeah, Bashir gets so much better later on. He gets much better. I think at this point they decided O'Brien is not an officer. I think that's established by now. Wait, did Tosk bring that from his ship? No, that's Odo, okay. I was wondering why they were focusing on that painting. It's like, is it Tosk's painting? What's going on? I really like how anytime they do that effect, they have to have the person standing completely still to do the shot transition. Like he gets in position, freezes, and then fades out. For the hunt. He has to prepare for the hunt, Odo. Maybe the transporters can't lock onto Tosk because of whatever lets him cloak himself. Maybe they just can't. We might establish that later in the in the finale. The transporter's working. They transported Odo in the last episode. And they transported that Bajoran orb in the pilot. So yeah, the transporters are definitely working. You can tell your friend O'Brien. He's your friend. Could you be more specific, Tosk? Didn't he? Maybe that was off screen. Maybe O'Brien told him about the weapon storage. We don't know that. They still haven't changed Odo's makeup yet. Oh, what shape is that? It's vaguely triangular, but I don't think that's the same model. That's a different ship model. I'm still waiting for that triangle ship. It's very similar, but it has a rounded rear section. Very similar. Oh, that looked like a TOS transporter effect. That looked old. And those look like some TOS outfits they have. Is this a TOS script? No, it can't be a TOS script. It's just the helmets, really. The actual outfits look like they could be on Voyager. But the helmets look really old. Instance 2 of Odo refusing to use a phaser at any point ever. They must have some really good reflexes to block them with their bracers. Very good reflexes. Scott McDonald is Tosk, right? Not the commander here? In the red jumpsuit? I feel like that light could be a lot bigger. There's no way that's the only size they could do. Maybe it's so small to give Tosk a fair chance. I'm not actually sure what the point of the helmet is, since the light that lets him see Tosk is really tiny. You would think it could be like an eyepiece like the Vorta have, rather than a whole full face helmet. The makeup is certainly much better than TOS, though. Looks much better than TOS makeup. Is is that? He sounds extremely familiar. Who is that? I can't click on the cast list on Amazon because it'll pause the video. Let me see. Captive Pursuit, IMDb. Who is that? Garrett Graham? Oh, that's who it is. That's who I was thinking of. I knew I recognized him from Star Trek. He's the Q that wants to kill himself in Voyager. That's who it is. Yeah, Quinn, that's his name. I didn't realize he was in any Star Trek other than that one Voyager episode. No, apparently he's another recurring guy, like Tosk. So, okay, now I can't unhear him being Quinn. I wish I hadn't realized that, because that's all I hear now. So, was it actually just selective breeding, or are we talking about actual genetic manipulation here? Like, are Tosk basically Jem'Hadar? Nice gloves. Very shiny. Poor Tosk. All he wants to do is die with honor. He's trapped in a cage. Then they could interfere. Something tells me Tosk is not going to ask for asylum. I feel like that's the exact opposite of what he would want to do. There is no way. Yeah, no. Don't insult Tosk with that offer. Come on, O'Brien. No, we never see the Tosk again. This is the only Tosk in the entire show. Yeah, DS9 really loves its warrior races. It uses the Klingons extensively. It introduces the Jem'Hadar, who are a genetically modified warrior race. It introduces the Tosk, who are a genetically modified warrior race. Star Trek in general does, doesn't it? The Hirogen are basically Tosk, or at least the Tosk hunters, because it's easy to make conflicts if you introduce a warrior race. Do we have any other warrior races in DS9? Jem'Hadar, Tosk, Klingons. Oh yeah, he's gonna be a Jem'Hadar too. He's gonna be Garanagar. I don't think the Kazon count. Nobody likes the Kazon. Oh, the face paint people, the Dozai. I think they're called. Are they a warrior race? I don't remember that being a thing, but it's been a while. Honestly, no one's a fan of the Kazon. They never show up again after season 2, and that is the point where Voyager really gets good. I mean, it gets really good yet again when 7 shows up. But when the Kazon go away, that's another good jumping point. Jump up in quality. Honestly, Voyager was the hardest series for me to watch. I honestly hated season 1. I hated it. And I didn't really like season 2, but after that it gets good. It's the longest wait to getting to the really good parts of any of the series. It does get good, but it takes longer than the rest of it. It takes longer than TNG or DS9, but it will get good. Well, you're saying you like the Kazon as villains? If you like season 1 and 2? Also, Odo could have just Odo could have just called Cisco. He didn't have to go to Ops. Just you have a phone at all times. You're wearing it. Yeah. He's just flair for the dramatic. Yeah, it doesn't count if you're not wearing a comm badge. This is well established through all the series. Yeah, nobody knows what's up with Odo's comm badge, I don't think. It just, it's just kind of there. He's a very good shapeshifter if he makes it himself. He can send out subspace signals with his shapeshifting. That's pretty impressive. Cisco knows what's going on. He knows what's up. He's trying to fit in with the other person's culture. If Odo tried to shoot people with bits of himself, I mean, actually, canonically, I don't think that would work because they established that bits of shapeshifters that fall off just turn into goo. But, I mean, it seems like season one they would definitely do that for season one. Oh wow, that is a bowcaster, isn't it? Just vertical. It's just straight up a bowcaster. Do you just kill Quinn? That looked like a death face, but I can't imagine it actually was. I mean, the dude's smoking. He wasn't even wearing his helmet. He just got shot. No, they won't punish him. He's not wearing a comm badge, so it doesn't count. He'll be okay. And what are they gonna do? Demote him? He's not an officer. I don't think O'Brien wants to die with honor. I don't think he wants to die at all. Oh man, if O'Brien left, that station would just immediately fall apart. Every time O'Brien leaves, everything just breaks. I feel like that might actually be the triangle ship model, just with another bit glued onto it. I honestly can't tell. I'm just looking up that Terralian ship. What does that look like? Oh, yep, that's not the same thing at all. Nope, not the triangle ship. Yeah, is he dead? Have they said if that dude was actually alive? I think it's interesting that they didn't do the thing where Cisco yells dismissed, and then as he's walking out, he says, O'Brien, I would have done the same thing. That seems like a common trope they do. They let O'Brien have that part. And another tragic incident. We will never again see Tosk. Tosk is gone. Anyway, the next episode is going to be the one with Q. Q-less, specifically. I'm pretty sure that Cisco does that for Worf later on. In the episode where Worf's getting... where he's put on trial. What's that episode called? Rules of Engagement. He does that for Rules of Engagement with Worf. Picard does that quite a bit. I'm thinking of another episode this season with that guy who has that machine that changes luck, like how just luck works on the station. It's not this episode. Um, what is that? Is that season 2? You guys know who I'm talking about? I'm trying to remember what I remember. It's season 3, really. That feels like it should be a season 1 episode. That can't be right. There's no way that's season 3. Prince Humperdinck, that's what I was thinking of. Because someone mentioned Lord Farquaad earlier about that hunter alien's hair. And I remember there's the guy in that episode who messes with luck is just it's Prince Humperdinck. That's all he is. Can't see anything else other than Prince Humperdinck. That was a weird episode though. I don't I don't really know what they were going for with it. It just kind of happened and then yeah, that was it. It was weird even for a one-off. Oh, I keep forgetting the jazz. Why didn't you remind me of the jazz, people? We always need the jazz. Apparently luck is an actual thing in Star Trek. Like, people actually have a physical amount of luck that they can use for certain things. It changes the nature of probability. Can't believe you didn't remind me of the jazz. Yep, all the neutrinos are spinning one way where normally it should be 50-50, whether they're spinning up or down. The very nature of probability changes based on a little bit of technology. God, that feels like it should be season 1. Yeah, that was how they were able to tell. It was that bit of technology that was causing it. Did they ever specify how that actually works? I mean, I don't think they could specify because it doesn't make any sense. They just have to leave it as vague tech stuff. I don't think there's any way they could say that. I don't think the hunters would really object to O'Brien getting involved, because they were pretty disappointed when the hunt ended early. They're probably quite happy with the continuation. I don't think that'll be an issue. I mean, it definitely won't be an issue because they never show up again, but in universe, I doubt that would be an issue. Alright, we're coming up on the time to play Q-less, our first and last instance of Q in Deep Space Nine. Show up a few times in Voyager, obviously it shows up quite a bit in TNG. Amazon, stop automatically playing it when I go to 0. My goodness. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Now, this might be a little odd, because in the TNG watch-through, we haven't actually met Vosh yet. And she's kind of a main character. If you haven't seen TNG, if you don't know who Vosh is, 1, why are you subscribed to me and watching a TNG clip show if you haven't seen TNG? And 2, she was just some archaeologist lady who went to hang out with Q, and they went gallivanting across the galaxy. And that about sums it up. I like how Bashir's one true love is in this scene. Just looking disappointed in him and annoyed. He could not care less about the preganglionic fiber. No, there won't. You're never going to show up again. You stop existing as soon as the camera panned off you. No, Garrick and Bashir, that's not love. Garrick and Bashir is in love. That's purely physical. O'Brien and Bashir is love. O'Brien and Garrick is just physical. Wait, is that an airlock? Is that an airlock that Kira was about to shoot? It wasn't, right? Kira wouldn't shoot an airlock. They need those. She even probably had a name by that point, Vash. O'Brien was probably named when he met Vash. If he met Vash. Yeah, I don't know if they actually met. I mean, he probably knows about Vash because everyone was gossiping. But I don't know if they ever spoke. He almost certainly heard the gossip. And just a little bit of Q. Just a little bit. Just to tell you, something's a bit wrong here. So from what I remember of this episode, I mean, feel free to mute me for the duration of this intro sequence if you don't want spoilers for the episode. But as I recall, what's going to happen? Vash found some weird energy absorbing crystal, and it starts draining all the power from the station. I don't think this is the one where they create a whole new universe inside a crystal thing. I think that's a different episode, but there's definitely a crystal involved here. And an auction. We get to see Quark doing his thing at auction. That's a Dax episode? Okay. Yeah, they just create an entire universe. Well, they don't create it, they find one. It's a living crystal? Of course it's a living crystal. What am I talking about? This is Star Trek. Of course it's alive. They have to make first contact with it. It's some kind of intelligent life form. Not Vash, the crystal. Well, I mean, Vash too. Vash is also an intelligent life form. Oh, Bashir, no. What are you doing, Bashir? Did they ask? She doesn't want to talk about it. That seems that seems like an important detail, Dax. I feel like you should have persisted in the question. That that I mean that's something you need to know. This is a bit too low resolution. I can't tell if that guy's a Bajoran or if he's just kind of wrinkly. I think he's Bajoran. Okay, that's more of a close up. Yep. Okay, he's not just wrinkly. That's a Bajoran. I don't think that's the guy from Peak Performance. He doesn't sound like him. Usually I'm pretty good at recognizing voices, but he doesn't sound familiar to me. And Peak Performance is one of the ones I rewatch sometimes. You could look it up real quick. Q-List, IMDb, cast and crew, Bajoran Clark, Van Epperson. Let's see, Control F, Star Trek. He was on Enterprise. No, it wasn't. He's not the guy from Peak Performance. He was on TNG, but he was just morgue attendant in Time Zero Part 2. He was on Enterprise, though, as Alien Man. They do mention the assay office a lot. but yeah, we don't really see it. Rosca Karn? Who's Rosca Karn? A Bajoran scrap metal merchant. No, that's a different person. That's someone else entirely. That's Roy Brocksmith, where this guy is Van Epperson. But we do all remember his appearance as Alien Man. Oh, hey, Morn. His appearance as Alien Morn was certainly his best role. Oh, the guy from Peak Performance is Rosca Karn. Okay. That might be true. Yep, that's him. It just it just ran out of batteries. So, I noticed that runabout had like a very triangular, pretty large light on the ceiling. But a lot of the other lights are recessed. That was the only light that extends out into the cockpit. Which I just think is an interesting detail, why they would have one big light like that. Hmm. Do you suspect those power outages might be related to the power outages on the runabout? Nah, there's no way it's related. There's no way. No, there. I'm sure there's no way some kind of intelligent crystal would be able to have some sort of energy draining effect. That doesn't sound very Star Trek at all. They still haven't replaced the mattresses? They have replicators now. What? What is that? What is that and why does it look vaguely Borg? Also, what is that pillow? Why is it triangular? I'm looking for triangle ships, not triangle pillows. That just looks. That looks completely impractical. Oh, hey, John. Very rude, John. John, come on. John, just leave her alone. She doesn't want to hang out with you anymore. He really has a problem with women saying no to him, doesn't he? There's a problem with Vosh here, where he won't accept it, and he won't accept Captain Janeway turning him down. He does have a problem with boundaries. I mean, dude showed up in Picard's bed and stroked his ear. You can't. You can't do that, John. What are you doing? Yeah, no, no touching the Delta Quadrant. We need that later. So I think it's interesting that Q is actually showing up in the Starfleet uniform here. And presumably just because that's what the audience is used to seeing him in at this point. But I'm not sure there's any reason he actually would be wearing it here. It does save on the costume budget. They already have something that fits him. But then they also have that outfit he wore when he wasn't a Q anymore. They could use that, but it is, as he says, they're not his colors. Quark just probably stopped existing for a minute. It's okay, he's back. He's fine. Yeah, yeah, put him in the mariachi outfit. That would work. Oh, gold press latinum's a thing now. We did it. We discovered gold press latinum. Nope, nope. Vosh, that's sexual assault. You can't do that. What are you doing? You can't just grab people like that, Vosh. You have to ask them first. Maybe she learned it from Q. Now she has a problem with boundaries. And Q is a bad influence on her. She wasn't that forward with Jean Luc. Is she gonna start grabbing at Julian now? Wait. Before it cut to a close up of Julian, did the door fail to close there? It looked like it stopped when it was still not fully closed. What happened there? It closed that time. It did close? Okay. Oh, hey, he does have. Oh, oh no. Oh, Q. John. John. John, those are not your colors. John, you looked so much better in that outfit when you lost your powers. Just put that on, please. That is not a good outfit. Alright, just put the uniform back on, John. I don't care if it makes sense in canon, just put the uniform back on. It looks so much better on you. That's a fun episode. Good old Sherwood Forest, where Worf is not a merry man. Why are you yelling at O'Brien? It's not his fault. It's the magic space crystal. Don't blame O'Brien. O'Brien's good at his job. I have no comment on this interaction. Yep, that's something that happened. Quark is getting very mixed signals, though, based on Vosh assaulting him and rubbing his ears. Thank God he put the uniform back on. Oh, that's so much better. Oh, yeah, he does outrank Cisco. Cisco's only a commander. Yeah, why doesn't he just go hang out with Jean Luc? They can chat all day. It takes hours or days to warp anywhere. Just chat with Jean Luc in his downtime. Where do they go? Do they just. Nope, he'll ravish you. We established this. Um. Does everyone just phase out of existence briefly? Do they go somewhere? Are they in Sherwood Forest? What's going on here? Okay, they're in. Okay. And he'll never provoke Cisco again. That's all taken care of. That's done. Presumably, Q would know that Cisco's half profit at this point. Surely Q would know that. I don't understand how that happened. Hull fractures? How did that happen? How did something hit the station? We're about to find out. Graviton pulse. Also, that doesn't look minor. That's a pretty sizable hole. And what's that made of? Duranium? It's made of the super steel? How did... Okay. Nope, that's fine. It's a minor hull breach. They've seen worse. It's just a flesh wound. If Odo is a wine bottle, not the wine itself, just the bottle around the wine, I have two questions about that. One, he obviously can't be the wine itself because if someone poured him out, that would reveal it. So he has to just be the bottle. Does that mean he gets someone to pour the wine into him? Or does he, like, grow a little arm as the bottle and pours the wine into himself and then retracts the arm? And also, does he absorb the alcohol from the wine while he's containing it as a bottle? I just want to see the little clip of Odo putting out his little arm out of the bottle to pour wine into himself. And then he has to... Hang on. I have more concerns now. Where does the original bottle go? Does he bring it into his quarters and pour the wine in there? And then as the bottle, he gives himself little legs and walks to Quark's bar? Does he turn into normal Odo form and hold the wine within himself somehow? Does he create a little Odo pocket? What are the rules here? I'm going to choose to believe he grows little legs as a wine bottle and goes where he needs to. It's completely unclear how Odo's mass works. Because if he turns into something small, if he, like, turns into a bird, he should be an extremely dense bird, but he can actually fly still. Okay, that's kind of just straight up evil Q, where normally you're just the kind of guy that screams World Star and pranks people, but that was actually just kind of evil. Yeah, people have at least once already, other than this, come down with serious diseases in public and just no one was concerned at all. This is a regular thing. He was one of the little people. Good memory, Q. O'Brien with his favorite Transporter Room 3. And that was about it, really. Who's this guy? Is he in Star Trek Otherwise too? Or is he on something else? Yeah, I wouldn't expect she actually drank anything from that. But, I mean, maybe. She's retiring. She could go hang out with Jean Luc. She could spend all the time she wanted with Jean. Yeah, don't worry about what she needs money for on Earth. Don't worry about it. She needs it for stuff. I have to imagine Q was deliberately keeping her away from the Dominion. I'm pretty sure he does promise Jean Luc that he's gonna protect her when they go to the Gamma Quadrant, so I assume that means keeping her away from the Dominion. Because Having her meet the Dominion would decidedly not be protecting her in any way. Nobody cares, Vosh. How much is it worth? She's actually sounding more like Jean Luc now. Did she? I feel like he might have had a bit of an influence on her as well. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. On that sensor display, that showed DS9 in orbit of Bajor. Isn't it not orbiting Bajor anymore? Isn't it parked next to the wormhole? Or does the wormhole also orbit Bajor really close to it? Wait, is that crystal going to be an orb? I feel like that's going to be a prophet artifact. It's going to be like a baby prophet or something, and it's being pulled back into the wormhole. Starfleet is notoriously bad at containing plagues. They just. We're less than 10 episodes in to either Star Trek series, and we've already had two plagues that they failed to contain. And I know for a fact there's going to be more. I mean, oh, that's why she's calling him evil. He, he could easily just save the station. So that's kind of evil that he's just not saving the station at all. Because it's in danger because of him. If he hadn't taken Voss to the Gamma Quadrant, this wouldn't be happening. This is a direct result of his actions. I mean, I get why, if you're going prime directive for the Q, why he won't interfere in most disasters, but this one actually is his fault. This one's actually his fault. It's Vash's fault too, but she doesn't know that. He does. Alright, is that... That does look vaguely like an orb. I... I seem to remember it not being related to the prophets, but it looks like it should be. Based on... It looks like an orb, and they're hurtling toward the wormhole. They're being drawn in. I don't think it's actually prophet related, but I think it should be. Oh, hey, that guy did have six hands. Six hands. Six fingers on his hand. Do you suppose Q would actually pay out for it? Would he actually create 2,501 bars of gold press latinum? Would he create a million bars of latinum? Obviously, he knows he's not going to need to, but it's not like it would cost him any effort. There are actual numbers associated with strips, slips, bars, and bricks. How many equals each? But I don't know it offhand. Also, I think Quark might, he might have a little bit of trouble enforcing the sale with Q. Oh, nope, it's a space egg. Okay. That works too. It can be a space egg. Where did Vosh get a space egg? Also, why is every time it's a sea or it's a space egg, why is it a sea animal? We had the space jellyfish. Now we had the space ray. I completely forgot that it was a space egg. But why are they all fish? They're all space fish. I mean, I guess it works. Space as an ocean, because Star Trek is tall ships in space. I mean, they don't need legs to walk, but they don't need to look like fish either. That's just straight up fish. It's not like they need fins to swim. There's nothing in space. What are the why do the jellyfish have the tentacle things? Are we gonna get any more space eggs in the show? I don't remember any, but I didn't remember that either. We might get more space eggs, other than the one that's an egg for an entire universe. Vosh, you can't keep assaulting people like this. What are you doing? Oh, hey, Morn. Seriously, Vosh is just assaulting people. She can't do that. I mean, I doubt Quark's gonna report her, but there are rules, Vosh. There are rules to this. Well, in any case, that is the last episode for today of Deep Space Nine. Same time next week. We'll also be doing TNG next week on Saturday. Yeah, apparently, since it's a Bajoran station, maybe Bajorans don't have rules against that kind of harassment. They're totally cool with it. No one was concerned at all about Bashir being missing. No one noticed. No one in the infirmary noticed. It's all fine. No one checked up on him. No one went to wake him up. I guess you could explain that away. You could say Q made everyone forget briefly. After Q left, everyone was like, oh yeah, Julian exists. Where's he been? The people in the infirmary weren't dealing with anything. They should have noticed. Anyway, the VOD for this won't be available immediately because these take some time to process. Otherwise, only the last 2 hours are available for some reason. I don't know why YouTube does that, but hey, that's what they do. So, yeah, probably in a few days the VOD will be up. If you didn't catch the first episode or something. Next week, for Deep Space Nine, will be Dax, where she's accused of murder. The Passenger, with Vantiga, I think is his name, where Bashir just goes evil. Bashir gets possessed, as people are wont to do on Star Trek. Happens all the time. And most importantly, next week, we'll be finishing off with Move Along Home. Everyone loves Move Along Home. Unironically, I actually enjoy it. It's really corny, but it's not corny in an uncomfortable way, like a lot of early Star Trek can be. Early TNG, Season 1 TNG, is just uncomfortable to watch. Move Along Home is just silly, and that's fine. It's allowed to be silly. There's also TNG next week. I don't remember. What are the TNG episodes that... Oh, right. The TNG for next week? It's exactly what I mean. It's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be uncomfortable because it's the Gene Roddenberry planet. Justice. That's gonna be certainly something. That's something that is gonna happen. I think Move Along Home is much easier to watch than Justice. Eventually we'll be done with Season 1 for both shows, and then we can move on to, you know, better seasons. But for now we're kind of stuck with these. And I refuse to skip. No matter how uncomfortable Justice makes me to comment on. I don't know what I'm gonna be talking about during that episode. It's just gonna be a lot of, like, oh no, Gene, why did you make this planet? Gene Roddenberry had some issues. We might skip the Season 2 clip show. We might skip Shades of Grey, because it is just a clip show. Yeah, I comment on the landscaping. That is not... Actually, is Justice... Does that take place in the same place? In the same, like, Japanese garden? That they do for, Starfleet Command or Starfleet Academy? It's that water reclamation facility? Is that the same place? Is that the filming location? Because it looks... As I recall, it looks very similar. But then, I haven't exactly re-watched Justice lately. That's not a thing I do. But it'll become clear next week when we actually see it. Well, if it is that reclamation facility in the Japanese garden, we'll recognize it. It's pretty distinct. That other episode, are we talking about a Scottish space ghost, perhaps? I don't know what people might have against a Scottish space ghost. Everyone loves Scottish space ghosts. Oh no, are you talking about Angel 1 in Season 1 where Riker wears the thing? Are we talking about that one? Because that one's also deeply uncomfortable to watch. And it's in Season 1. Yeah, that one's... Oh boy. That's certainly something that's gonna happen. I don't know why they did that. That is distinctly a Gene Roddenberry episode. Look, Gene. Maybe you shouldn't write specific episodes. Oh no, we already watched the racist one. We're already done with that. We finished it. We don't have to go back to it ever again. Up the Long Ladder. I think Up the Long Ladder might be Season 2. I think that's Season 2. But eventually we'll get to good seasons, I promise. We're gonna get to Season 3, we're gonna get the Drumhead, we're gonna get Devil's Due, we're gonna get Conundrum. But for now, we've got to get through some Angel 1 and Justice. We'll get there eventually. We just have to get through the Gene Roddenberry planets first. But in any case, that's enough for today. Thank you for joining me, everyone. And see you in a week. Intake on Friday. TNG on Saturday.